Good evening. Well, today a big speech from Sir Keir Starmer, leader of the opposition Labour Party. And what did he tell us today? Well, he told us that he would stick to tough spending rules in order to give us economic stability. He'd set up Great British Energy, a publicly owned clean power energy company. He'd cut NHS waiting lists by providing 40,000 more appointments each week, funded apparently by tackling tax avoidance and non-dom loopholes. He'd launch a border security command to stop the gangs arranging small boat crossings, and he'd provide another 6,500 neighbourhood police officers to reduce antisocial behaviour. And there'd be new penalties for offenders. I'll tell you what's interesting about those 6 pledges. There is absolutely nothing new there at all. And this idea that somehow you remove tax breaks, as they're seen, for private schools, and that gives you the money to recruit an extra 6,500 teachers. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. Yet everybody in politics and the media keeps asking the question, how will you pay for it? And you would think literally that we take tax off one thing and give it directly to another. We don't. It's all baloney. Actually, all the money, whether it's tax, whatever form of tax it is, national insurance, all goes into a central pot. We don't have what is known as hypothecation of taxes. And anyway, we don't run balanced budgets either. So that bit of it I find insufferable, but don't worry, Rishi Sunak does exactly the same thing. He sat down after the speech with GB News' political editor, Christopher Hope, and the first question that Chris asked was about tax.
Wherever we have said we will raise taxes, we've set out what we'll raise and what we'll spend the money on. So what you did hear this morning is that we're going to get rid of the tax break for private schools and use that money for the teachers we need in our state secondary schools. What you did hear is we're going to get rid of the non-dom status properly and use that money towards reducing waiting lists. The tax burden on people is as high as it's ever been under this government. This has been the tax rising government of all time.
And then Chris Hope asked him, well, who do you support? Where's your consistency? What do you really stand for?
Your opponent, the Prime Minister, said on Monday that you're someone who backed Jeremy Corbyn in 2019, a left-wing politician. Now you're backing Natalie Elphicke, a right-wing politician. What do you stand for? Do you stand for anything? Are you that desperate to get into power, you'll back all these different people from different parts of the political view?
Well, I would gently remind the Prime Minister that Jeremy Corbyn will not stand as a Labour candidate at the next election. This is a changed Labour.
You backed him in 19.
He is not able to say the same about his predecessor, who smashed the economy, and working people are paying the price. If he was serious about the future, he would ensure that Liz Truss wasn't a candidate at the next election, but he's too weak to do that. So I've led from the front. I've changed my party. This is a party back in the service of working people. What we are now seeking, humbly seeking, is the opportunity to change the country and put the country back in the service of working people.
And are you the heir to Tony Blair?
Well, look, ever since I've been Labour leader, people have tried to sort of box me into being a previous Labour leader. Tony Blair was a fantastic leader. He won 3 elections.
Well, of course he's like Tony Blair. He's aping Tony Blair in absolutely every way. It was Blair back in 97 that came up with the 5-point pledge card. Compare and contrast the pictures of Blair with Starmer. There's Starmer today, walking around the stage very much as Blair would have done. Do you notice the shirt? The rolled-up shirt? And there's Tony Blair with his pledge card. So that's very, very similar. And have a look at this sleeves rolled-up image. That's Keir Starmer today. Let's go back to 1997. Oh, there's Tony Blair, and it's absolutely identical. Now, look, there is an argument that if you find a winning formula, you keep using it. But I just put this to you, folks. This is Blair without the flair. This is Blair. This is almost a charisma-free zone. But, crucially, does this win your vote? Farage at gbnews.com.